I want to tell you a really surprising fact about the English language.
Oh, okay. I love language
Yeah,
facts.
and this fact, it might actually change how you see your entire working life.
Wow, that is a big promise.
I know, I know. But listen to this. For hundreds of years, like starting back in the 1400s, the word priority had no plural.
Wait, really? No plural at all?
None. You could not say priorities. It was just grammatically impossible.
That is fascinating.
Right, because the word literally meant the very first thing. The one thing before everything else.
And you can only have one very first thing. Yeah.
Exactly. If you have a line of people, well, only one person can stand at the front.
That makes perfect logical sense.
But today, the modern world has totally changed this. Your boss probably gives you a list of like 10 priorities.
Oh, absolutely. Everything is a top priority now.
Right. We try to have 10 different very first things. And because of this, we're just completely exhausted.
I mean, that history of the word, it really explains so much about modern life. It is the root of the problem.
It really is. And the result is just terrible. Let me ask you, the listener, a question. Do you ever feel like you are running all day long?
Oh, I think everyone feels that way.
Yeah. You answer 100 emails, you talk to 5 different people, you go to 3 meetings, you work so hard.
You never stop moving.
Right. But then it is nighttime. You sit down on your sofa, you look back at your day, and you feel like you did nothing important.
Yes. You feel totally tired, but you do not feel successful.
Exactly. You feel like a failure, honestly.
I think almost every professional feels that heavy feeling today. You give all your energy away, but you have nothing real to show for it.
Well, if you feel this way, you are not alone. Our deep dive today is about solving this exact problem.
And we have a really great source for this.
We do. We are going to look at a famous book called Essentialism. It was written by a guy named Greg McKeown.
He is a writer from the UK, right?
Yeah, he lives in the U.S. now. But he noticed a very strange pattern in the world. He noticed that success can actually ruin your life.
That sounds like a contradiction. I mean, we all want success.
We do, but McKeown points out that success can become a really dangerous trap.
So how does that happen? How does success become a trap?
Well, let us think about a normal career. Imagine you start a new job.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You want to do well, right? So you focus very hard on 1 or 2 projects. You do a brilliant job.
And because you do a brilliant job, people notice you.
Exactly. Your manager notices you. Other teams notice you. They trust you.
That sounds great so far. You are building a good reputation.
It is great at first. But what is the reward for good work?
Oh. I know this one. The reward for good work is usually more work.
Yes. People come to you. They ask you to join a new committee. They ask you to help with a side project.
They invite you to extra meetings.
And because you are a good worker, you say yes. You want to be helpful.
Precisely. You say yes to everything, and suddenly you have 20 projects instead of 2.
Your time is just divided into tiny pieces.
Right. You become very, very busy. But you are no longer doing brilliant work.
You are just doing average work on 20 different things.
Exactly. Your success created so many opportunities that you lost your focus. You stopped being effective.
That is a brilliant observation from the book. You do well, you get more work, you accept all the work, and then you cannot do any of it well anymore.
Your success literally destroys your focus.
So McHugh wrote this book to stop that cycle. He wanted to answer one big question. How do you do less but do it better?
Less, but better. That is a really beautiful idea.
It is. Now, a quick thing before we continue. If this kind of conversation helps your English, hit subscribe.
Yes, please do.
We discuss big ideas in simple, clear English. We do not use complicated academic words. We just have real talk about real ideas.
All right, let us begin our journey into this book.
I'm ready. But before we can fix our busy lives, we need to understand the main concept. What does the word essentialism actually mean?
Let us break it down. The base of the word is essential.
Okay. Essential.
If something is essential, it means it is absolutely necessary. You cannot live without it. It is the core of the matter.
Give me an example of that.
Sure. For example, humans can live without chocolate. Chocolate is nice, but is not essential.
That's true. Sadly.
But humans cannot live without water. Water is essential.
That is a very clear difference. So what is the philosophy of essentialism then?
Well, the philosophy is quite shocking to some people. It states that most things in the world are just noise.
Noise, like unimportant.
Yes. Most tasks, most emails, most meetings, most opinions, they do not matter at all.
Wow. Most things do not matter. That is a very strong statement to make.
It is strong. But think about your own life. How many emails did you read last year?
Oh, I do not know. Probably thousands.
Right. And how many of those thousands of emails actually changed your life?
Let me think. Maybe 2. Honestly, maybe 0.
An essentialist understands this math. They believe that only a very small number of things matter a great deal.
So the essentialist searches for those few important things.
Yes. They search for the vital few, and they ignore the rest.
I have a specific quote from the source material here. I want the listener to really hear this. The author writes, "If you don't decide what is essential in your life, someone else will decide for you."
Let us pause and really think about the meaning of that sentence. Someone else will decide for you.
That is a frightening reality.
It really is.
It scares me because it is completely true. If I wake up in the morning and I do not have a clear plan for my day still gets filled.
Oh, absolutely.
But it gets filled with other people's plans. My boss takes an hour. Social media takes an hour. A friend calls and complains for an hour.
And your time just disappears.
Yes. Nature hates an empty space, right?
If your calendar has a blank space, someone will grab it. People are always looking for extra time and extra energy.
And if you do not protect yours, they will take it for their own goals.
Exactly.
So we agree we have to protect our time. But most people do not do this. Most people try to do everything.
They do. They really try.
The source material has a wonderful visual way to explain this mistake. It is the butter on bread analogy. I love this picture.
It is a great image. Walk us through it.
Okay. Imagine you have a massive piece of bread. Like it is as big as a dining table.
Okay, a huge table of bread.
Now imagine you have a very small piece of butter. Just a tiny, tiny square of butter.
I can see it.
Now your job is to put the butter on the bread. But instead of putting it on one small corner, you try to spread it over the entire massive piece of bread.
Oh, no.
What happens to the butter?
Well, you have to scrape it very, very hard. The butter becomes incredibly thin.
Yes, it becomes almost invisible.
It is so thin that it just disappears into the bread.
Exactly. And when you pick up that huge piece of bread and take a bite, what do you taste?
You do not taste butter at all. You just taste dry, boring bread.
You wasted the butter.
That is exactly how most people live their lives.
Yes, explain how that connects to real life.
Well, the butter represents your energy, your time, and your focus. And the bread represents all the different projects and demands in your life.
So we spread ourselves too thin.
Yes. We wake up, we give a tiny scrape of energy to our job, then a tiny scrape of energy to our spouse,
Then a tiny scrape to learning English.
then a tiny scrape to cleaning the house, then a tiny scrape to going to the gym.
And at the end of the day, we have eaten dry bread.
Exactly. We did not make any real progress at the gym. We did not have a deep conversation with our spouse.
We did not truly learn a new English word. We just did a tiny bit of everything and achieved nothing.
So to taste the butter, you need a smaller piece of bread. You need to focus all that rich butter on one delicious bite.
That is the essence of less but better.
It is.
Okay, I understand the theory. It sounds beautiful. It sounds like a very peaceful, quiet life.
Yeah.
But I have to stop you here. I am thinking about reality.
What part of reality worries you?
I'm thinking about a normal office job. The butter analogy works if you are alone in your kitchen. But what if you work for a big company?
Okay, let us look at the corporate world.
You do not have a choice about how many projects you take. Imagine this scenario. You are sitting at your desk. Your boss walks over.
Right.
They drop 5 huge folders on your desk. They say, "I need all 5 of these projects finished by Friday. They are all top priority."
The famous boss with 5 top priorities.
Yeah.
We all know this situation.
Yes. So what do? I cannot just look at my boss, smile, and say, "Oh, I am an essentialist now. I only do one thing at a time."
No, you definitely cannot say that.
If I say, "I will do one project and I will ignore the other 4, I will lose my job. I will be fired today."
That is a very valid fear. And it is the first thing people ask when they read this book.
It is a practical problem.
It is. People think essentialism means being rude to your boss. But that is a misunderstanding.
So what does it mean?
Essentialism is not about refusing to work. It is not about being lazy.
Then how do you handle the 5 folders?
You handle it by making the trade-off visible. You force a conversation about reality.
Tell me how that conversation works. Give me the exact words to use.
Well, usually when a boss gives us too much work, we stay silent. We say, "Yes, boss." We nod our heads.
We do. We want to look good.
Right. Then we go home, we panic, we stay up until midnight, and we produce 5 terrible, low-quality projects.
We hide the struggle from the boss.
Exactly. We do that because We want to look like superworkers.
Hmm.
We want them to think we can handle anything.
But an essentialist knows that superworkers are a myth.
Yes, you only have a limited number of hours. So when the boss gives you 5 projects, you ask a strategic question.
Okay, what is the question?
You say, I want to give you excellent work on these, but I only have 40 hours this week. If I focus all my energy on project A and make it perfect, what happens to project B?
Oh, that is smart.
And then you ask, which one of these do you want me to do first? Because if I do project A first, project B will be delayed until next week.
Wow. You are giving the problem back to them.
You are showing them the math. You are saying, I have 1 piece of butter, which piece of bread gets it?
That is a great way to put it.
You do not refuse the work. You ask the leader to lead. You ask them to define the actual priority.
That is a very professional way to handle it. You are showing respect for your own time and respect for the quality of the work.
Yes, you are saying, I refuse to give you bad work.
And what usually happens when you say that?
When you make the trade-off visible, the boss usually stops. They look at the 5 folders. They think about it.
Because they have to face reality, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And often they say, you know what? You are right. Project A is the most important. Focus on that. Leave the others for now.
And you just saved yourself hours of useless stress.
Yes,
Let us connect this to the listener's daily life. Let us talk about learning English.
I love that.
This is a B1 level deep dive. Our listeners are working really hard to improve their language skills. How does the less but better idea change how we study?
Well, it changes everything. Let us look at the typical language student. How do they usually try to learn?
Oh, I know exactly how they do it. I have done it myself.
Tell me.
They feel highly motivated one morning. So they buy 3 different grammar books.
Right.
They download 5 different language apps on their phone. They subscribe to 10 English YouTube channels.
It is a lot of input.
They try to watch English news. They try to learn 20 new vocabulary words every single day.
They are spreading the butter over the whole table.
Yes. They are doing a tiny bit of an app on the bus, then reading 1 page of a book, then watching 2 minutes of a video.
And what is the result after a month of doing that?
The result is usually frustration. They feel like they study all the time, but they cannot speak smoothly.
Because they did not go deep on anything.
Right. They forget the words. They get confused by the grammar. The brain is just overwhelmed with too many different types of information.
Now imagine an essentialist English learner. How do they approach the same goal?
The essentialist learner chooses one thing. Less, but better.
Give me an example.
Okay, instead of 10 grammar rules for 5 minutes each, they choose 1 grammar rule. For example, the past tense.
Just the past tense.
Yes. They take 1 rule and they study it deeply for a full hour.
What does studying deeply look like in this case?
It means true focus. They close all the apps, they turn off YouTube, they take a physical pen and paper.
No distractions.
None. They write sentences about their own life in the past tense. They speak the sentences out loud to the wall.
I love that. Speaking to the wall.
They listen to the sound of their own voice, they make mistakes, and they fix them. They give 100% of their mental energy to that one single rule.
And the next day, that learner will actually remember the past tense.
Exactly. The student who used 5 apps will forget everything. Depth is always better than width.
This all makes perfect logical sense. We need to protect our time. We need to focus deeply on one thing.
But knowing the logic is easy, actually doing it in the real world is very hard.
It is incredibly hard.
To do this, we need to use a very specific tool, and it happens to be a very short word.
It is a word with only 2 letters, but it is the most difficult word for a human being to say.
The word is no. This is a huge part of the source material, the power of saying no. Why is this 2-letter word the most important tool for an essentialist?
It goes back to the basic math of reality. Your time is a limited resource. You get 24 hours in a day. That is all.
You cannot buy more time.
Exactly. Your energy is also limited. You only have a certain amount of brain power each day.
Right.
Because of these limits, a very hard truth exists. Every single time you say yes to something, you are automatically saying no to something else.
I want to make sure I really understand that. Every yes is a hidden no.
That is a perfect way to say it.
Can you paint a picture how that works in real life?
Sure. Let us imagine a typical weekend. It is Saturday morning. You have planned a nice, quiet day.
Sounds lovely.
You want to study English for 2 hours and then relax with your family. But suddenly your phone rings.
Oh.
As your coworker, they say, hey, I am moving to a new apartment today. Can you come help me carry some heavy boxes? It will only take a few hours.
Oh man, that puts you in a tough spot. They're asking for help.
And without thinking, you say, Yes, of course. I will be right there.
Well, that seems like a good action. You are being a nice friend.
You are being nice. But let us look at the hidden cost. By saying yes to carrying boxes, what did you just say no to?
I see.
You said no to your English study time. That 2 hours is gone. You cannot get it
All
back.
right.
You also said no to relaxing with your family. You will come home tired, sweating, with a sore back. You will have no energy left for your children.
Wow. When you frame it like that, it feels much heavier. I did not just say yes to boxes. I actively killed my own goals for the day.
Exactly. Every choice has a shadow. Every yes brings a shadow of a no.
And the essentialist forces themselves to look at the shadow before they answer.
Yes.
But if saying yes is so dangerous to our goals, why do we do it so much? Why is it our automatic reaction?
That is the big question.
When the phone rings, why does the word yes jump out of our mouths before our brain even has time to think?
Well, it is a deeply human problem. It is psychological. There are a few major reasons. First, we genuinely want to be helpful,
Right, most people are good people. They want to support their friends. I like feeling useful.
of course. But the second reason is much deeper. It is the fear of social pressure.
Oh,
We are
yes.
absolutely terrified of disappointing other people. We hate the feeling of letting someone down.
That is so true. If I say no to a friend, I imagine their face dropping. I imagine them feeling sad or angry. I actually feel a terrible weight in my stomach.
It is a physical feeling
Why does it feel physical?
because it is tied to human evolution.
Evolution. Really?
Yes. Thousands of years ago, human beings lived in small tribes. If you upset your tribe, if you refuse to help, they might kick you out.
And if you were kicked out into the wild forest alone, you died.
Exactly. So our brains developed a huge fear of social rejection. Saying no feels like a threat to our survival.
Wow. Our brain screams, say yes or they will hate you and you will die.
Pretty much.
That makes so much sense. We say yes to protect ourselves from feeling uncomfortable.
But by doing that, we ruin our own lives. We fill our calendars with completely useless tasks.
We go to boring parties because we are afraid to say no to the invitation.
We join useless committees at work. We surround ourselves with garbage tasks.
So we need a way to break this ancient programming. We need a way to stop the automatic yes.
And the source material offers a fantastic practical tool for this. It is called the awkward pause.
The awkward pause. I read about this. It sounds so simple, but in practice, it is terrifying. Let us really explain how this works.
The concept is this. When someone asks you to do something, your natural habit is to reply immediately. You speak before you think.
Right.
The awkward pause is a rule you make for yourself. When asked a question, you must remain completely silent for 3 full seconds before you speak.
Wait, just silence? No, or let me think.
Pure silence. You stop moving. You do not open your mouth. You just look at them.
Let us do a role play right now so the listener can feel it.
Okay, let us do it.
I will be the annoying coworker. We are in the office. I walk up to your desk. Hey, I know you're busy, but could you please read my 20-page report and fix all the spelling mistakes by tonight? So you were just staring at me.
Yes, I am just looking at you.
Wow. We have to stop. I cannot handle it. That was awful.
It feels terrible, does it not?
My heart rate actually went up. I felt sweat on the back of my neck. I felt a desperate need to say something, anything, just to break the silence.
3 seconds feels like an hour.
It really does.
But that physical discomfort is exactly the point. The silence builds tension. But what happens during those 3 seconds inside your brain?
Well, my brain stopped acting on autopilot.
Yes. The pause gives your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional brain.
That makes sense.
In those 3 seconds, you can ask yourself a vital question. Is this essential? Do I really want to spend my evening fixing someone else's spelling mistakes? Or do I need to rest?
You are creating a gap between the trigger and the reaction. You are taking back control of your mouth.
Precisely. And sometimes the person asking the question will fill the silence themselves.
Really? How?
If you just stare at them for 3 seconds, they might get nervous and say, you know what, actually, I can ask someone else, never mind.
That is the best outcome. They solve their own problem.
It happens more than you think.
But let us say they do not. Let us say you do the pause, you think about it, and you decide the answer must be no. How do you actually say the word no in a professional setting?
Right.
I do not want to sound angry. I do not want to just say, no, I will not help you. Go away.
The author provides graceful ways to decline. To decline is the polite, professional way to say no.
Okay, graceful declines.
You can protect your time while still showing deep respect for the other person.
Give me a script. What words do I use? Let us go back to the office. I ask you to join a new, boring committee that meets every Friday afternoon.
You can smile and say, I am so honored that you asked me to join. Thank you for thinking of me. But I must decline. I am deeply focused on my primary project right now, and I cannot give the committee the attention it deserves.
Let us analyze that answer. Why is it so good?
Break it down for me.
First, you said, I am honored. That makes my ego feel good. You told me I made a good choice by asking you.
Yes, it softens the blow.
And then you said, I am deeply focused on my primary project. You are not saying, I am going to go play golf.
Exactly.
You are saying, I am working hard on something else. It is very hard for a boss or coworker to argue with that.
You are refusing the task, but you are not rejecting the person.
That is a great distinction.
Here's another very useful phrase, the simplest one of all. Let me check my schedule and get back to you.
Oh, I have used this one in my real life. It is like magic.
Why does this simple sentence work so well for you?
Because it removes the immediate pressure. When someone is standing right in front of you, the social pressure to say yes is at its highest point. You feel trapped.
Yes, you do.
By saying, let me check my schedule, you escape the trap. You buy yourself 24 hours.
And then what do?
You go home, you look at your true priorities, you realize you do not want to do the task, and the next morning, you send a short, polite email declining the offer.
Saying no in an email is 100 times easier than saying it to someone's face.
It really is. That is extremely practical advice. The awkward pause, the graceful decline, and the email escape. I love these tools.
They are very effective.
But I have to bring us back to reality again. I am putting on my skeptical hat.
I welcome the skepticism. What is the problem?
While I am listening to this advice, say no to things. Protect your time. But to me, saying no sounds like an extreme luxury.
A luxury. Like a fancy car.
Yes. It sounds like something only a rich person or a powerful CEO can afford to do.
Okay, I see where you are going.
If you are the boss of the whole company, of course you can say no. Everyone listens to you. You have millions of dollars in the bank. You have no fear. But let us think about a 22-year-old person who just graduated from university. They are starting their first job at a big company. They are at the bottom of the ladder.
The early career reality is very different.
It is completely different. If you are 22 years old, do you not need to say yes to everything?
You certainly feel like you do.
You need to meet people. You need to discover what skills you are good at. You need to show your managers that you have a strong work ethic.
Yes.
If a young worker reads this book, walks into the office, and starts saying no to their manager on the first week, they will be fired immediately. They will destroy their career before it begins.
You are highlighting a very real tension here. And it is important to note that the source material actually agrees with you.
It does. The author admits you have to say yes sometimes.
Yes, he does. McEwen acknowledges that in the very early stages of a career or a new phase of life, you are in an exploration phase.
Exploration phase,
Yeah.
okay.
You do not know what is essential yet because you do not have enough data. During exploration, you do need to say yes to more varied opportunities to find out what you excel at.
Okay, so the philosophy of essentialism is only for old people who are already successful. Young people should just ignore this book.
Not at all. This is the crucial difference. You might have to say the word yes out loud to your boss. But inside your own mind, the habit of essentialist thinking must start on day one.
How does a young person do that?
Even when you accept a task, you do not do it blindly. You still ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? What is the goal? You build the mental muscle of evaluation.
Right, you are paying attention.
And more importantly, saying yes to your boss might mean you have to be absolutely ruthless about saying no to everything else in your private life.
I understand. If I'm forced to give 60 hours a week to my new job, I have to make cuts at home.
Precisely. You say yes to the demanding boss. But because you did that, you must say no to going to the bar on Friday night.
You must say no to watching 3 hours of Netflix.
You must say no to a chaotic social life. You protect your sleep and your basic health. You practice essentialism where you have control.
That makes perfect sense. You control the areas you can control.
Exactly.
Let us talk about our listeners again. The English learners. In their private lives, what are the things they need to start saying no to? What are the biggest enemies of language learning?
The enemy is distraction. It is whatever steals the attention you meant to give to English.
For me, the biggest enemy is a small, glowing rectangle in my pocket, my smartphone.
Oh yes, social media is the ultimate thief of time.
Let me walk you through a typical evening with my smartphone.
Tell me.
I sit down at my desk, feel good, have my English textbook open, I have a cup of tea, I'm ready to study for an hour.
Perfect setup.
But then my phone lights up. It makes a little ding sound. Someone liked a photo I posted.
The trigger.
Yes. I tell myself, I'll just check this one notification. It will take 2 seconds.
Famous last words.
I pick up the phone. I look at the photo. But then my thumb starts moving. I swipe up. I watch a short video of a dog.
Then another video.
I swipe again. I read a comment about politics. I swipe again. Suddenly, I look at the clock. 45 minutes have passed.
Your tea is cold.
My tea is cold. My book is untouched.
You said yes to the phone.
Oh.
And by saying yes to the phone, you automatically said no to your English practice.
I traded a long-term goal for short-term entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be an essentialist learner, you have to physically say no to the phone. You have to put it in a different room before you open the book. You have to remove the choice.
Saying no is always difficult because it forces us to choose. It forces us to realize that we cannot have everything.
The universe has rules.
And this brings us to the most painful reality in the entire book, the concept of trade-offs.
Yes. This is a major pillar of the essentialist mindset.
Let us make sure we define this term clearly for the listener. What exactly is a trade-off?
Let us use an example.
I like to explain it with money.
Okay, let us hear the money example.
Imagine you're standing in a store. You only have a single $10 bill in your pocket. That is all your money.
Okay.
On the shelf to your left, there's a beautiful new book that costs $10. On the shelf to your right, there's a ticket to a fun movie that also costs $10.
You want both.
Of course you want both. The book looks interesting and the movie looks fun, but reality is cruel. You only have $10.
Right.
If you take the $10 and buy the book, you must walk away from the movie. The movie is the cost of buying the book.
That is a trade-off. Choosing one thing guarantees losing the other thing.
That is the perfect economic definition. It is called opportunity cost.
Now, apply that same strict logic to your time. Every hour of your day is a $10 bill.
Okay, I like that.
If you spend an hour watching TV, you have spent the currency. You cannot use that same hour to exercise.
But the non-essentialist refuses to accept this logic, right?
And non-essentialists hate trade-offs. We try to cheat reality.
Yes. When a non-essentialist faces a choice between option A and option B, they say, I am smart. I am capable. I will find a way to do both.
They try to stretch the $10 bill, but let us look at what happens when you try to do both. The source material has a great story to illustrate this, the party example.
I think everyone has experienced a night like this. Let us walk through the scenario in detail.
Go ahead.
Imagine it is a Friday evening, you check your calendar, and you realize you made a terrible mistake.
What did you do?
You accepted invitations to 2 different events on the exact same night. Event A is a quiet, intimate dinner with 3 of your oldest, closest friends.
That was nice.
Event B is a huge, loud networking party with hundreds of people from your industry.
2 very different events happening at the exact same time. How does the non-essentialist handle this crisis?
The non-essentialist says, I will do both. They make a complicated, stressful plan.
What is the plan?
They decide to go to the networking party first, stay for exactly 1 hour, then run to their car, drive across the city, and join their friends for the end of the dinner.
It sounds like a military operation. What is the actual result of this plan?
Total disaster. At the networking party, they cannot relax. They are constantly looking at their watch.
They talk to people, but they are not listening.
Right. They are just thinking, I need to leave in 10 minutes. They make no good connections. Then they run to the car.
Traffic is terrible, of course.
Yes. They are sweating and angry behind the steering wheel. The stress is building.
Yeah, bet.
They finally arrive at the restaurant an hour late. Their friends have already finished eating. The food is cold. The friends are slightly annoyed.
Oh, there's the worst feeling.
The non-essentialist sits down, exhausted, and realizes they ruined the entire evening. By trying to enjoy 2 events, they experienced 0 joy.
They refused the trade-off, and so reality punished them. They lost both options.
Exactly. Now, let us rewind the tape. How does the essentialist handle the same Friday night crisis?
Well, the essentialist stops the panic. They sit down and ask a hard question. Which one of these 2 events is more important to my life right now?
They force themselves to choose.
Yes. Maybe they are looking for a new job. So they admit that the networking party is the essential priority.
Or maybe they have been working too hard and missed their friends, so the dinner is the priority.
The reason does not matter. What matters is that they pick one.
And what happens to the event they did not choose?
They send a polite apology. They accept the loss. They say, I am so sad to miss the dinner, but I have to focus on my career tonight.
And
And then they go to the networking party, they stay for 3 hours, they are relaxed, they have deep, meaningful conversations, they make great connections, they are 100% present in the moment.
because they accepted the pain of the trade-off, they got a beautiful reward. They enjoyed a high-quality experience.
This concept relates directly to another major trap we fall into. The author calls it the good enough trap.
The good enough trap. Explain what that means.
Life is not always a choice between a terrible option and a great option. Usually, life offers us things that are just pretty good.
Like what?
For example, a client offers you a project. It does not pay a lot of money, and it is not very interesting. But it is okay. It is a pretty good opportunity.
Most people would say yes to that. Why would you say no to money?
Here is the hidden danger. If you fill your hands with pretty good things, your hands are completely full. You have no space left.
Right.
Then, a week later, a magical, excellent opportunity appears. A dream project. But you cannot take it.
Because you're too busy.
Yes, you have to say no to the dream project because you are too busy working on the boring, pretty good project.
Oh, I see. Good is the enemy of great.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you want great things in your life, you have to be brave enough to reject good things. You have to leave empty space in your life waiting for the excellent opportunity.
I understand the logic, but I am going to interrupt you here. I have a major problem with this idea of trade-offs.
Okay, let's hear it.
I understand trading a party for a dinner. I understand trading a good job for a great job. But what about the massive pillars of human life?
What pillars are you thinking of?
I am talking about things you absolutely cannot sacrifice. What about your family? What about your health?
That is a big question.
Let us use the trade-off logic. You cannot look at your children and say, well, my career is my top priority right now, so I accept the trade-off of never seeing you grow up.
That would be a monstrous way to live.
Or you cannot say, I want to be a millionaire by age 30, so I accept the trade-off of sleeping 2 hours a night and destroying my heart. Surely some trade-offs are unacceptable.
That is a profound and important point, and it is the most common critique of this entire philosophy. People think essentialism turns you into a cold, calculating machine.
It kind of sounds like it sometimes.
But the author clarifies this exact problem. He introduces a concept called non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables, meaning things you refuse to negotiate or trade.
Correct. These are the absolute foundations of your existence. McCown believes that an essentialist must define their non-negotiables first before they do anything else.
What are those, usually?
For most healthy people, these are sleep, basic physical health, and core family relationships.
So you protect those things first.
Yes. Think of your life like a glass jar. You have some large, heavy rocks, and you have a bucket of sand.
Okay, a jar, rocks, and sand.
The heavy rocks are your non-negotiables, your health, your children. The sand is everything else, your emails, your hobbies, your extra work projects.
If you pour the sand into the jar first, it fills up to the top. Then you try to put the big rocks in, but they do not fit. There is no room for your family.
Exactly. But the essentialist does the opposite. They put the big rocks into the jar first. They lock them in.
I will sleep 8 hours. I will have dinner with my children.
Those are locked. Then they pour the sand in around the rocks. The sand fills the empty spaces.
I love that image. So the trade-offs only happen with the sand.
Precisely. Once your health and family are protected, then you make ruthless trade-offs with the rest of your time.
You'd trade off watching a movie so you can study English. You trade off a golf weekend to finish a business plan.
But you never put your health on the trading table.
That makes me feel much better about this philosophy. You decide what is sacred, and you trade the rest.
Right.
Okay. We have talked a lot about the big theories. We understand less, but better. We understand why saying a no is powerful. We understand trade-offs. Now, I want to get very, very practical.
Let's do it.
I want the listener to finish this deep dive and know exactly what to do tomorrow morning.
The book provides several excellent exercises for this.
Let us spend some real time on these tools. I want to know exactly how to execute them. What is the first thing a listener can do?
The first action is incredibly simple. It requires no physical changes to your life. For the next 7 days, starting tomorrow morning, I want you to live normally.
Just live a normal week. Do not quit my job.
Right. Do not cancel your plans, but add one mental habit.
What is the habit?
Every single time someone asks you to do something, or every time you're about to start a new task, just ask one question quietly in your head. Is this essential?
So when my alarm goes off and I pick up my phone to look at social media in bed, I pause. I ask myself, is looking at social media essential right now?
Yes, and when your coworker asks you to join a quick meeting about office supplies, you ask in your head, is this meeting essential for my job?
But if I am just asking the question and not changing my actions, what is the point?
The point is awareness.
Well,
You are waking up your brain. Right now, you are flying on autopilot. You are just reacting to the world.
that is true.
If you ask this question for a week, you will be shocked by the data you collect. You will realize that 80% of what you do every day is complete noise. It is habit. It is not essential at all.
It is like turning on the lights in a dark room. You suddenly see all the mess. I like that. It is a very safe, easy first step. Just observe yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, what is the next practical action? Tool number 2.
This next one is much more aggressive. It's called the 90% rule.
The 90% rule. Explain how this works.
We make decisions every day. Should I buy this shirt? Should I accept this dinner invitation? Should I take this new project?
Right.
When you look at an option, you usually have an internal feeling about it. You can rate that feeling on a scale from 0 to 100.
Okay. If I see a shirt and I think it is the ugliest shirt in the world, that is a 0. If I see a shirt and it is exactly what I have been looking for, that is a 100.
Right. The author's rule is brutal. It says this: when you rate an opportunity, if your score is not 90% or higher, then you must change the score to 0, and you must say no.
Wait, hold on. Let me process that math.
Think about it.
What if a friend invites me to a restaurant? I like the friend. The food is okay. I rate my desire to go at a 70%. It is a solid 70.
Under this rule, a 70 is a 0. You say no.
What if a client offers me a project? It pays well, but I am a little bit tired. I rate it an 85%. That is a B grade. 85 is very high.
And 85 is a 0. If it is not a 90, 95, or 100, the answer is an absolute no.
That is unbelievably strict. If I lived by that rule, I feel like I would say no to almost everything in my life. I would sit in an empty room.
That is exactly the point. Most things in life are just okay. They are 60s, 70s, and 80s.
As we discussed with the good enough trap, we fill our lives with 70s.
Yes, and because your schedule's blocked by all these 70s, you miss the rare magical 95s when they walk past you.
Wow. If you clear out the 70s, you create a vacuum, you create space.
Exactly. So for the listener, try applying this to just one decision this week.
Just one.
Yes. Maybe you are thinking about buying a new online English course. Ask yourself, what is my score? If it is an 80, be brave. Say no. Save your money and your time until you find a course that is a 95.
I am going to try that. It feels terrifying to reject an 85, but I see the long-term value. Okay, what is the third practical tool?
It is called the closet audit. We mentioned a closet earlier. Let us explore that physical reality first. Think about the wardrobe in your bedroom where you keep your clothes.
Okay, I am picturing my closet.
Let us imagine you love buying clothes. Every month, you buy 3 new shirts, you bring them home, and you hang them in the closet. But you never throw away any of your old shirts. You keep clothes from 10 years ago.
What happens to the physical space?
It becomes a nightmare. The closet gets completely packed. The clothes are crushed tightly together. You cannot even pull a hanger out.
Worst of all, you cannot find your favorite new shirt because it is hidden behind 10 old, ugly sweaters you never wear.
Exactly. So how do you fix the closet? You cannot just push the clothes harder. You have to do an audit.
What does a closet audit look like?
You take every single item out of the closet and put it on the bed. Then you pick up one shirt at a time. You look at it and ask, do I still wear this? Does this fit me today? Do I love this?
If the answer is no, you put it in a trash bag. You give it away to charity.
Yes, you aggressively remove the old to make space for the good. Now, we must apply this exact same process to your calendar.
My schedule is a closet.
Yes. Every year of your adult life, you add new responsibilities. You add a new meeting. You add a new gym habit. You add a new social club.
You put all these new shirts into your schedule.
But you never remove the old one.
This hits very close to home. I am looking at my calendar in my mind right now. I have a video meeting every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. I have attended this meeting for 2 years. Half the time, nobody says anything useful. We just sit there. I do not even know why the meeting exists anymore.
That Tuesday meeting is an old, ugly sweater with holes in it. It is taking up valuable space in your life. You are keeping it just out of habit.
So here is the exercise for the listener. Open your calendar right now. Look at your schedule for the next 7 days. Find one regular, repeating activity that is no longer essential.
It could be a meeting. It could be a weekly phone call that drains your energy. It could be scrolling a news website every morning for 40 minutes.
Find it. look at it, and then throw it in the trash bag, cancel the meeting, quit the club, block the website, remove just one old shirt from your calendar this week.
If you remove one thing, you instantly win back an hour of your life. Which brings us perfectly to the final practical tool. Now that you have an empty hour, what do you do with it?
Tool number 4, protected time.
If tool 3 was about making empty space, tool 4 is about using that space for your absolute highest priority.
Let us use studying English as the core example here. Learning this language is a high priority for our listeners.
Excellent. So English is your essential activity. The tool is this. You'd have blocked a specific amount of time in your calendar for this activity, and I recommend starting very small, just 30 minutes.
Why only 30 minutes? If it is essential, shouldn't I study for 3 hours?
Quality is more important than quantity. It is far better to have 30 minutes of deep, aggressive, protected focus than 3 hours a week distracted studying where you are checking your phone.
Okay, so I go to my calendar, I draw a box from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. I write English study in the box. Is that all?
No, writing it down is the easy part. The hard part is protecting it. You must protect this minute block as if it were a meeting with the president of your country.
A meeting with the president. Let us play with that image.
Imagine it is tomorrow morning. It is 6:55 a.m. You are sitting in an office. At 7 a.m., the president is going to walk through the door to have a private meeting with you.
Okay.
At 6:58 a.m., your phone rings. It is a friend wanting to chat about football. Do you answer the phone?
Absolutely not. I turn the phone completely off. I throw it in a drawer. I cannot let a phone ring while the president is talking.
What if a coworker knocks on the door and says, "Hey, can you help me find a document real quick?" Do you open the door?
I would lock the door. I would put a sign on the door saying, "Do not enter."
What if you wake up and you feel a little bit tired? Do you call the president and say, "Sorry, I am sleepy today. Let us do this tomorrow"?
Never. Even if I am exhausted, I show up. I drink coffee and I pay attention.
That level of extreme respect, that boundary, is exactly how you must treat your 30 minutes of protected time. It is an appointment with yourself. It is an appointment with your future.
I love that framework.
When 7 a.m. arrives, the door is locked, the phone is off, the world disappears. For 30 minutes, you give 100% of your soul to learning English.
Treat your own gold with the respect you would give to a world leader. Let us review the 4 practical actions quickly.
Okay.
First, use the awkward pause and ask, is this essential? Just to notice your habits. Second, use the strict 90% rule for one decision. Third, do a closet audit and delete one useless repeating event. Fourth, schedule 30 minutes of protected time like a meeting with the president.
If a listener executes just one of those actions, their week will completely change.
I fully believe that. But as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we have to be honest. We have praised this book a lot, but no book is perfect. Every philosophy has blind spots and weaknesses.
It is our job to examine those weaknesses. We must look at this book critically.
I will start. While I was reading the source material, I felt a growing discomfort. I call this flaw the privilege problem.
Privilege is a big concept. Explain what you mean in this context.
Well, the entire philosophy of essentialism relies on one massive assumption. It assumes that you, the reader, have total control over your own time.
It assumes you are the boss of your reality.
Yes. The author writes from a very wealthy, corporate, comfortable point of view. It feels like a book written for a CEO sitting in a leather chair.
I see the angle you are taking.
Think about a different reality. Think about a single mother. She has 2 small children. She works 2 minimum wage jobs just to buy food and pay the rent. She works in a busy kitchen, and she cleans offices at night.
Her reality is very different from the CEO.
Yes. When her manager at the kitchen tells her, clean the floors or you are fired, she cannot use the awkward pause.
No.
She cannot wait 3 seconds and say, I am honored, but I must decline to clean the floors because it is not essential.
If she does that, she loses her income.
Exactly. And when she is at home and her baby starts crying at 3 a.m., she cannot look at the baby and say, I am sorry, taking care of you right now does not rate a 90% on my joy scale. I am protecting my sleep time.
The baby needs her. The choices are made for her by absolute necessity.
That is a very sharp, very accurate critique. Essentialism requires a foundation of stability. The book ignores people who are living in survival mode.
When you are just trying to survive, you do not have the luxury of choosing the essential path. You just do whatever must be done to stay alive.
This book is a tool for people who already have a comfortable life and want to make it better.
Right. It is a good tool, but we must acknowledge who it was built for.
Now, what about you? What did you find frustrating about the book itself?
For me, it was the actual reading experience. I found the structure of the book to be highly repetitive.
Repetitive. You felt like he said the same things over again.
Yes, the core ideas, less but better, the power of saying no, the reality of trade-offs, they are brilliantly explained in the first 3 chapters. You understand the message completely.
And then,
But then, the book continues for another 200 pages.
what is in the rest of those pages?
It is just the exact same lesson, repackaged. He tells a story about an executive who said no, then a story about a doctor who said no, then a story about a teacher who said no. The context changes, but the core lesson never evolves.
So an essentialist would look at this 250-page book and say, this is not essential. This should have been a 20-page essay.
That is the irony. A book preaching extreme focus and cutting out the non-essential is, itself, filled with non-essential chapters. Could have been much shorter and more powerful.
That is a very funny contradiction, but you noted one more flaw in your notes, and I think it might be the most important criticism of all. You called it the missing step.
Yes, the missing step. The entire philosophy is built on the phrase less but better. It commands you to clear away the noise so you can focus on what truly matters.
Right. Find the essential thing and ignore the rest.
But there is a massive assumption hidden in that advice. It assumes that you already know what your essential purpose is. It assumes you know exactly what better looks like for your life.
Oh, I see the problem.
Many people are drowning in busy work and noise precisely because they do not know what they want. If you stop a random person on the street and ask, what is your single essential goal in life? Most people will panic. They will say, I have no idea.
That is very true. Even at this point in my life, I'm not always sure what my absolute top priority is. It changes.
The book tells you how to clear the path. It tells you how to say no, but it does not offer a deep psychological framework for discovering your true purpose. It misses the step of internal discovery.
To use our earlier analogy, the book teaches you how to throw away all the old clothes in your closet. But if you do not know what your personal style is, you just end up with an empty closet. You do not know what new clothes to buy.
That is a perfect summary. The
Yeah.
book gives you a very sharp knife to cut away distractions, but it does not give you a compass to tell you which direction to walk. You have to bring your own compass.
Wow. Okay, that brings a lot of balance to our discussion. We have covered a massive amount of territory in this hour.
We really have.
We started by exploring the modern exhaustion of having too many priorities. We defined the philosophy of less but better. We analyzed the deep, uncomfortable power of saying and no, and practiced the awkward pause.
We face the cold reality of opportunity cost and trade-offs.
We gave you the closet audit and the 90% rule. And finally, we looked at the book's blind spots regarding privilege and purpose.
It has been an incredibly thorough journey through the material.
So as we wrap up, how do we summarize the ultimate message? If a listener forgets everything else we said today, what is the one thing they must remember?
Remember the absolute limit of your existence. You have a limited number of days on this earth. You have a limited amount of energy in your body.
Yes.
If you refuse to take control and decide what is essential for your own life, the world will gladly step in and decide for you. The world will fill your calendar with things that benefit them, not you.
You become a tool for someone else's goals.
Yes. Essentialism is not an excuse to be lazy. It is not a trick to do less work so you can sleep on the sofa. It is the exact opposite. It is about actively choosing what matters most, building strong walls to protect it, and having the fierce courage to say no to everything outside those walls.
Courage. That is the perfect word. It requires bravery to live this way. Now, before we say goodbye, we have something exciting. We want you, the listener, to guide our ship.
We need you to choose the topic for next week's deep dive. You can vote right down in the comments. We have 4 excellent options lined up.
Option 1 is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This book breaks down the exact science of how habits form in the brain and how you can hack that system to build daily routines that serve you automatically.
Option 2 is Deep Work by Cal Newport. This book is a great cousin to today's topic. It explores the rare and valuable skill of focusing without distraction in a world full of notifications. It's about how to do hard, meaningful mental work.
Option 3 is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. This is a very different kind of book. It is a philosophical, almost spiritual look at time management. It points out that an average human life is only 4,000 weeks long. How do we stop panicking and learn to accept our limits?
And option 4 is The One Thing by Gary Keller. This book is structurally similar to Essentialism, but offers a very specific focusing question to help you find that single most important task every day. It might be the compass that Essentialism is missing.
Those are the choices. Duhigg, Newport, Berkman, or Keller. Drop your vote in the comments. The most popular choice wins.
As we close the show, I want to leave the listener with one final provocative thought, something to chew on while you go about your day.
Give us the final thought.
Throughout this hour, we talked mostly about saying no to bad things. We talked about saying no to annoying coworkers, or saying no to boring meetings, or saying no to phone distractions.
That is hard enough.
It is. But the ultimate test of an essentialist is much more painful. The hardest part of essentialism is not saying no to things you hate.
It is not.
No. The hardest part is saying no to things you actually like. It is looking at a really fun hobby or a good opportunity or an invitation from a nice person and saying no to it anyway. You have to say no to things you like so that you have physical and mental room for the rare things you absolutely love.
Wow. Saying no to what you like for what you love, that makes the picture crystal clear. The universe gives us a messy, beautiful pile of options. But we have to be the ones to draw the bright line. We have to make the hard cuts.
We do. Nobody will do it for us.
And that leads perfectly to our final call to action. We want to hear from you directly. We want you to practice the audit right now. Tell us in the comments, what is one thing in your life right now that is truly essential to you? And what is one specific thing you could stop doing today to give that essential thing more space to grow?
I will be reading the comments. I cannot wait to see what you choose to cut and what you choose to protect.
Thank you for spending your valuable, essential time with us today. We will see you next week on The Deep Dive.